My sister showed up unannounced at my beach house with her new husband to stay a few days that night. She said, "I want breakfast ready at 6 a.m. tomorrow." My husband wakes early and likes everything her way. As the host, that's your job. So, I set the alarm for 3 a.m. and planned a little surprise in their morning coffee they'll never forget. My name is Miles. I'm 33, the oldest kid in my family, the one who fixes things. I own a small clothing shop that I've dragged through ugly years and tourist seasons that felt like winter in July. I'm the guy who shows up with jumper cables, who remembers shoe sizes, who sends money just until payday, and hears nothing back. I bought a tiny beach house last year. Not fancy. 2 bedrooms, 1 squeaky screen door, a porch that smells like salt and coffee. It was my first thing that was mine. That Friday, I came home from the shop and found my sister on the porch. Tessa, new husband in tow. No call, no text, just suitcases like we were a hotel. She hugged me quick like a customer returning a sweater. Surprise. We needed a little break. Cole's been stressed. Cole smiled. The smile of a man who thinks the world is a vending machine if he kicks it hard enough. I looked past them at the luggage. How long is a little break? Tessa waved it off. A few days. You'll barely notice us. I noticed right away. The guest towels I folded on Sunday were in a heap. There were wet footprints in the hallway. He was already poking in my kitchen drawers like he expected to find a concierge bell. We ate takeout on paper plates. I tried to be decent. I've got an early morning at the shop. Tessa squinted at the ocean like she owned the horizon. Can you turn the waves down? She laughed at her own joke. When dishes were in the trash and Cole had tested my speaker with a playlist that sounded like an engine misfiring, Tessa stood, stretched, and dropped it like she was reading a rule. Everyone knew. I want breakfast ready at 6, she said. Cole wakes early and likes everything her way. As the host, that's your job. Everything her way. Cole didn't even look up. He just nodded like he was approving my schedule. I heard my own voice come out calm. 6. She said, eggs, bacon, oat milk. We're off dairy this week. And he needs coffee. Hot like tongue burn hot. I smiled. It felt like stretching fabric too far. Sure. At 9, I set 3 alarms for 3 a.m. Not because I'm a saint, because I had a little surprise to brew. A harmless one. Something they'd remember every time they tried on their We Own You tone. I lay in bed listening to the waves and my radiator. Old habit. Counting the things I'd once paid for so they could have the luxury of talking to me like help. Shoes, rent, dentist, a deposit I never saw again. The first goal cried before I slept. 6 a.m. would come. So would I. And this time, I wasn't the doormat. I was the door. I didn't come for money. I came from a family that thought I was their line of credit. Mom's mantra, family helps family. Her subtext, Miles helps everyone. Dad's add-on, you're the oldest. You owe. It started small. Gas money for Tessa. Cleats for my brother Nate. Then textbooks. Then temporary rent when Dad's hours got cut. I was 20 and working 2 jobs. Stocking at a chain store nights. Folding thrift finds into something people wanted by day. I learned to stretch $10 like it was elastic. When I opened my shop at 27, they cheered in the group chat like I'd won a prize they could spend. Proud of you, Mom typed. Then, can you spot us until Friday? The electric bill is insane. I spotted Friday, slid into Mondays. Mondays into next week. Swear. If I ever hesitated, I got the line that noted through bone. Don't be selfish, Miles. You're good at money. Translation. You know how to make it, so give it to us. Tessa had a way of stepping into a thing, like she paid for the floor. She did 2 years of community college, 3 years of finding herself, and 1 long year of borrowing my car. Weekend after weekend, I'd watch my gas light come on and hear her say, "Oops, thought I filled it." I told myself it was temporary, that once the shop got steady, I'd set boundaries. But when steady finally came, so did more requests. New laptop for Nate for school. A security deposit for Tessa, so she could finally move out. Bridge money for Dad after a surprise tax thing. They never learned surprise taxes come every April. The beach house wasn't a flex. It was survival. The rent on my apartment was climbing, and the mortgage on a beat-up cottage came out cheaper than renting in town, plus storage for inventory. I fixed it myself. Sanded the cabinets until my hands cramped. Laid vinyl plank while YouTube yelled at me. Bought a second-hand espresso machine because making my own coffee was cheaper than the app that knew my name. I kept the house quiet. I showed up for family birthdays. Sent gifts. Said no to nothing because the one time I tried God. That was the winter mom called about Tessa's emergency. She's being evicted. Mom said breathy like she'd run to the phone and back. It's not her fault. Her boss is a monster. Can she crash with you? 2 weeks. 2 weeks turned into 2 months. Tessa left dishes like breadcrumbs. She posted beach photos from my porch with captions like gratitude. She asked for my card just to hold the hotel deposit for a friend's bachelorette weekend. I said no. She pouted. Then she cried. Then Mom called. Don't punish your sister. You know she's sensitive. Sensitive. 2 days later my bank sent a thanks for your stay alert from a hotel I'd never been to. I froze. I called. They read me the card numbers. The charge matched a card I kept for supply orders that lived in a drawer. The drawer Tessa liked to rummage in 4 rubber bands. I confronted her. She stared straight through me. I borrowed it. I said I'd pay you back. You didn't ask. You always say yes. Nate was in the doorway listening, choosing silence like Dad taught him. Tessa rolled her eyes. God, Miles, you're so dramatic. I flipped the light on the drawer. The card was back, but something else wasn't. The sense that any of them knew lines existed. I replaced the card. I moved the drawer. I kept the piece because holidays were coming and I was tired. That's the trap. You get tired and they get everything. 2 months later, I learned Mom had made a copy of my beach house key for emergencies and given it to Tessa. It came out by accident. We were at Sunday dinner. Mom was plating meatloaf and said, I told Tessa to keep that spare somewhere safe. Imagine if you lost yours. Spare for your little place in case you lock yourself out. I stared at the ketchup glaze like it might start talking. You copied my key without asking. Miles, Mom said, smiling like she was teaching kindness. Family trusts family. I pictured my drawers, my coffee, my bed. I said no. Family asks. Don't be petty, Dad said, not looking up from the game. You're so rigid. That night, I drove the hour to the beach house and changed the locks. Tessa blew up my phone. Hilarious. Was locked out with Cole. We had to get a motel. You owe me. I didn't respond. I put my phone on airplane mode and slept for 10 hours. The next week, she apologized in a voice that told me a second favor was coming. It did. Could we use the house for a weekend? Just us. We won't bother you. No, I said it was a full sentence. I almost didn't recognize myself. She made a sound like she'd bitten an olive pit. Wow. After everything I've done for you, like what? You know what? Emotional support. We're family. I hung up, sweat prickling my neck. Saying no felt like lifting a crate I thought would be heavier. But Mom called. Dad called. Nate texted a thumbs up, which is his way of saying, I'm not getting involved. Tessa sent a heart and then a screenshot of a beach sunrise captioned manifesting. They showed up anyway. 2 people for suitcases, a list of expectations. Host, she said like it was my job title. Breakfast at 6. The old me would have made a grocery list and swallowed the insult. The new me set an alarm. I wasn't going to be cruel. I was going to be clear. Coffee has a way of drawing lines. And mine was overdue. At 3 a.m., the house was pure sea and floor creaks. I showered because pettiness doesn't have to be messy. I ground beans, filled the machine, and pulled 2 perfect shots into mugs I didn't mind losing. Then I stirred in the surprise food grade blue coloring. A few drops, harmless, odorless, the kind bakers use for ocean cakes. I tested a sip. Good. Strong. And when I smiled, my teeth glowed smuff. I made their eggs. I crisped the bacon I bought. I poured oat milk like a hotel show-off. Then I slid into my chair with my black coffee, which was just coffee. They shuffled out at 6:07, rumpled and entitled. Tessa yawned. Cole scratched like a human alarm. Breakfast, I said. Tessa sniffed. Finally, they ate. They drank. It took 3 minutes for Cole to notice. He licked his teeth, frowned. Babe. Tessa glanced at her phone camera and gasped. Why are my teeth blue? Cole swiped to the front camera. What the? He looked like a cartoon villain. He rubbed at his mouth with a napkin. It smeared it worse. I didn't smile. I kept my voice neutral. Oh, new beans. Must be the roast. It's D.Y. Miles. Tessa snapped, dabbing at her lips like I'd injured her. Are you serious? Completely safe, I said, but hard to ignore like a boundary. Cole was spluttering. I have calls. I can't go on video like this. You can reschedule, I said. Or you can listen, Tessa glared. You think this is funny? No, I think this is necessary. I slid a folder onto the table. Printed statements, Vimo screenshots, notes. I'd stayed up last night putting it together, because if I was going to draw a line, I wanted it straight. You've treated me like a wallet with arms. That ends now. Here's what you owe me. Here are the dates. Here are your signatures. Here are the texts where you promised to pay me back. I tapped a page with her heart emoji and Friday swear under a $480 transfer. She stared at the hearts like they turned on her. I was going to. It's been 8 months. Cole cleared his throat. We're family. You don't invoice family. You don't steal from family, I said, still calm. You don't copy keys. You don't book weekends in my house in your head and then arrive with luggage. Tessa laughed once, tiny like she was testing a weapon. God, you sound like Mom when she's performing victim. Speaking of Mom, I put my phone on the table, speaker on the family group chat open. I typed a message at 559 and hovered. Now I hit send. House is not a free hotel. Guests follow rules. Money owed must be repaid. If you don't like that, don't come. Then I attached 2 pages of the ledger. Within seconds, dots bubbled. Mom, Miles, don't be cruel. Dad, this is extreme. Take it offline. Nate, Tessa hissed. Delete that. No, I said. Also, check the guest bathroom. I'd set a new rule sign last night, printed in simple font, taped above the towel rack. Guest rules. Ask before inviting others. Clean up your dishes. Replace what you finish. No overnight guests without permission. No using Miles's cards. Violations equals immediate checkout. She stalked down the hall. Her laugh echoed, humorless. What are you, a motel? I'm a person, I said. This is my home. Cole finally found his voice. We can't leave today. We just got here. You can stay 2 nights, I said. Under the rules, and you'll leave a deposit. I slid a small square toward them. A payment app QR I'd printed and taped to a coaster. $300. Right now, you're charging your sister. Her voice climbed like a siren. I'm asking for respect. They stared at the coaster like it was a court summon. Tessa's phone dinged. Mom again. We'll talk when emotions settle. Honey Miles, don't embarrass the family. The word embarrass landed the way it always does. With shame, they hoped I'd pick up and carry so they didn't have to. I didn't pick it up. Pay the deposit, I said. Or pack. Cole swallowed. He scanned the code. I heard the faint chirp of a completed payment on my phone. Tessa watched money leave her account like it was blood draining. You're unbelievable. No, I said. I'm clear. She looked at my coffee, then at her blue smile in her camera. You're petty. I'm awake. I stood, and we're done pretending this isn't about money and power. You don't get both. Not here. The message in the family chat turned from dots to paragraphs. I put the phone face down. Eat while it's hot, I said, and left them on the porch with the ocean and their blue teeth to think about cause and effect. The tide was coming in. So was I. They stayed. Not happily. They moved through the house like customers in a store they couldn't afford, touching everything with their eyes. I went to work at the shop and left a printed list on the counter. Check out Sunday by 10 a.m. strip sheets. Run dishwasher. Leave keys. It felt ridiculous to write it out. It also felt like oxygen. At the shop, I steamed shirts and priced a rack of summer linen. Locals wandered in. A tourist couple asked where to get the best fish tacos. I told them and threw in a 10% discount because they were kind and asked about the neighborhood like it was a person. When the register closed, I opened my banking app and saw the deposit, bright and real. I felt the tiniest click inside me, like a lock finally engaging. The group chat boiled all day. Mom sent the classics. We raised you better than this. Family isn't about money. Your sister is in a fragile place. Dad chimed in with logistics disguised as love. You know, Tessa can't afford deposits right now. You make more than your sister. Translation, absorb the cost again. Meanwhile, Nate sent a single text that made me laugh out loud in the stockroom. Proud of you. When I got home, the kitchen was cleaner than it's ever been when Tessa is within a mile of it. The blue coffee surprise had worn off, but she kept checking her teeth anyway, paranoid. Cole avoided my eyes. He'd found the sign in the bathroom and obeyed it like gravity. That night, Tessa tried a new angle. She knocked on my door and stepped inside before I said come in. We can talk, she said, perching on the arm of a chair like she was in a magazine. I'm listening. She smoothed her leggings. I'm sorry if you felt used. That's not an apology. She ignored that. I needed help. We both did. Cole had a thing with his old landlord and stop. You're adults. I pointed at the folder on the table. You owe me $2,340. I'm not your bank. Pay me back over 6 months. $50 a week. No interest. Miss 2 payments and you don't come back here. Her eyes flashed. You'd ban me? Your sister. I'd ban anyone who treats me like a doormat. You used to be nice. I used to have no boundaries. She scoffed. Mom said you'd get like this once you got your little house. It's not little to me. I stood. Good night, Tess. She left muttering about how success changes people, which is rich. Coming from someone who thinks my porch is a free resort. I slept like a stone. Sunday morning, they checked out on time. Sheets in a pile, dishes washed. A single sticky note on the counter. Deposit is enough, right? We didn't break anything. The smiley face was just a line, no eyes. After they left, I walked every room and found the usual. Sand a fork under the couch, a candle burned all the way down to the label. But nothing stolen, nothing new broken. Progress. I sat with coffee and sent one more message to the group chat. New policy. No one stays without written permission. Deposits required. Boundaries are not up for debate. I half expected lightning. Instead, silence then. Mom, you've changed. Mia, at the shop that week, I was lighter. Customers noticed. Nice to see you smile, Mrs. Alvarez said as she tried on a chain dress and told me about her granddaughter's piano recital like it was the Super Bowl. I upgraded the POS app so I could send invoices cleanly. I put together a tiny website page titled House Rules with a password only family would get. It felt extreme. It also felt like a fence finally built. Midweek, Tessa paid the first $50, then another $50. Shock. Friday, she missed one. Monday, she made it up with a row of grim emoji. On Thursday, she texted, "You humiliated me with the coffee." I typed and deleted 3 drafts. I settled on, "You humiliated yourself by taking without asking." The coffee was a mirror. She left me on read. 2 Saturdays later, a woman came into the shop and asked for me by name. Tall, precise wedding band tan line. "I'm Dana," she said. "Co's landlord." Former. Oh. She looked around the shop like it might be bugged. He put me down as a reference for a new place. I told the truth. I waited. That he pays when he's cornered. She exhaled. "He also used your address on an application." "No," I said, "he does not." "Thought you'd want to know." She put a business card on the counter. Also nice linen. She left with 2 shirts and paid full price, which felt like a small good omen. That night, I messaged Tessa. "Remove my address from anything you filed. Now, if you don't, I'll report it." Her reply was fast and furious. "What is wrong with you? Why are you against my happiness?" I didn't answer. I sent a single screenshot of Dana's card and the word no. Then I blocked her for 24 hours to give us both the gift of not escalating. Sunday morning, Mom tried a new tactic, pity on a plate. We're coming down to the beach to talk. I said no twice in 2 separate bubbles, so she couldn't pretend she missed it. She sent a paragraph about how I used to be so generous. I sent one sentence, generous has boundaries. The next few days turned into a window where I tested my new spine at scale. I said no to a request for a loan that smelled like plain theft. I said yes to dinner with friends who didn't measure me by what I could give. I took a half day and sat on my porch without waiting for the next crisis to ring my phone. When trouble finally did roll in, it came in the exact way I'd started to expect, loud and public. Tessa blew up the family chat with a monologue about how I had changed the energy of the family by making money a weapon. It got likes from 2 cousins who owe everyone back pay for babysitting, and a heart from Dad who loves any post that isn't about him. Then something new happened. Aunt Renee, who never gets involved, typed, "He's right. Pay people back. Leave his house alone." Then my grandmother, who speaks in recipes and weather reports, added, "Boundaries are good. I'm proud of you, Miles." I stared at the screen like it might be a deep fake. Tessa quieted down. The payment plan continued grudgingly, but it continued. Cole removed my address after his application got rejected anyway. Mom tried twice more to push me into hosting a family 4th of July at my place. I said, only if everyone pays their share and cleans up after. She said that's tacky. I said, so is free loading. She sent a sigh emoji large enough to cover a car. On an ordinary Tuesday, a couple in their 40s came into the shop and told me they'd driven from 2 towns over because a friend said that store owner will treat you like a person. I helped them choose a jacket for a job interview. They left smiling. I locked up and walked to the water and let the wind slap my face until it stung. I realized I'd been holding my shoulders at my ears for years. They dropped. That night, I made coffee at 9 p.m. just because I could and wrote my own rules for my own life on an index card. Pay yourself first. Answer when you want. No is a full sentence. People who love you don't need to be tricked into respect. I tucked it into the drawer where my spare keys live now. There is no spare key for anyone else. I slept with the window open. The house breathed. I did too. A month after Blue Coffee Day, Tessa asked to meet. A public place, her suggestion, which told me she was trying not to perform. We picked a quiet cafe 2 towns inland where no one knows us as those siblings. She came alone. No Cole, no suitcase energy, just a sweatshirt and hair thrown up and a look I recognized from when we were kids. And she scraped her knee. Stubborn pain. I made the payments. She said you did. I hate that you made me. I didn't. Consequences did. She toyed with the sugar packet, the kind of fidget she uses when she's trying not to cry. Mom says, you're punishing me. I'm protecting me. She nodded once like she'd heard it out loud for the first time. Cole thought the blue coffee was genius. I snorted. Of course he did. Silence. Then he moved out. She said it like she was telling me the weather. He liked the way you used to be. Always. Yes. I sat with that. I didn't say I was sorry. I wasn't. I paid you because I don't want you to close the door. She said, I know I've been. She searched for a word. Found the honest one. Awful. I didn't rush to soothe. You've been entitled. She winced but didn't argue. I want to try to be better. Trying is good. I sip my coffee. Being is better. I don't know how to not do the thing where I assume you're the net. You start by asking, I said. Then you respect the answer. She blew out a breath. You're really not going to host a 4th, are you? Not without a budget, a cleaning schedule, and deposits. She laughed. A real one this time. God, you're serious. I'm free. I said, that's different. We walked out into a sky stacked with low clouds. At her car. She hugged me in a way that felt like a person hugging a person, not a customer trying to return something used. Thanks for the coffee, she said. The regular kind. Anytime you ask, I said. At the beach house, I made a fresh pot and wrote a short post-it and stuck it to the inside of my front door so only I see it when I lock up. I am not a wallet. I am not a hotel. I am Miles. I choose who and how. Mom still tries. She calls with soft edges. We should do a family weekend down there. It would be healing, maybe. I say with rules. She sigh. Boundaries. Boundaries. Yes. I say my favorite word. At the shop, I watch a kid try on a jacket and jam his hands into the pockets like he's finding treasure. His dad pays and says, "You run a good place." I say thanks. And I mean it more than he knows. The register dings. The doorbell dings. The ocean keeps doing what it does. Loud when it wants, quiet when it wants. No apologies. Sometimes I think about the person I was, the one who equated love with loans, who measured his worth in favors delivered on time. He was doing his best with the tools he had. I'm doing my best with better ones. Blue coffee wasn't revenge. It was a boundary in a mug. A lesson that washed off with toothpaste in time. The real change is the part that doesn't fade. I no longer ask to be treated well. I require it. I pay my bills. I refuse theirs. I am generous on purpose, not under pressure. If you've been the bank, the couch, the spare key, hear it from a man who learned the long way. No is love you give yourself. And when you give it, people either grow up or go away. Both are peace. I lock my door. I walk to the water. The horizon doesn't ask permission to exist. Neither do I.